here
I'm so
in
happy.
West Hollywood.
I'm so happy to be here with
I can't
you.
believe you have never. You're telling me you don't do those autograph signing things and all that. You don't do those things.
I've never done it. I'm a fool.
Good.
You know?
No, you're not a fool, but you do have a new album out.
I do.
Tell
A
me
new
about
CD, Sally. What a lovely name, huh? I tried so
I
many.
love it. Is that what you got? Who did this picture?
Alan Mercer. Great photographer. Just the
Can
sweetest
we?
man.
I love this. Can I look at this photograph?
Yeah,
here?
can we show that?
Yeah, can we?
Please.
Oh, that's a great picture. Great.
It is a great picture. And
It's. Go ahead. Alan is he does Mamie Van Dorn. He does all these blondes of.
oh, he's done, album covers for Paul Williams and Etta James and all kinds of people. And he approached me one night at Paul Williams' show and said, I'm a big fan, and we've become very close friends. And he's just shot me so many times. I mean, I was through being shot. I said, you know what, I'm going to be like the old stars and use something from 1945 or something,
Sally Kellerman, tell me what has been exciting in your life lately, because you are hidden away somewhere in the Hollywood Hills. You very seldom get around, but only do your work, and then once in a while I see you in your car. You got an adorable
You
car.
like my car?
I
I
love
know.
your
I should
car.
put SallyKellerman.com on it. I'm the new Angeline. I've got a car that you can spot 100 miles away. I hadn't planned that, but my husband calls me the invisible achiever. But I am so through with being invisible because.
Good, you're singing now.
Well, I've always sung.
I know that.
Let's not go right to singing now, because I have been
Ah,
singing
forgive me, I didn't mean
it's
now.
It's all no. I mean, no reason anybody would know, but I have all my life sung, been a singer, been under contract to Verve, and then I made my first album in the '70s, and Lou Adler produced my first demo.
That's right. Mamas and a Papa's the guy.
Lou, and I did my first demo with Carole King's rhythm section.
Right.
For Lou, and I made my first album in the '70s for Decca, and I've worked with Barry Manilow and Bobby Womack and Muscle Shoals and Nashville all along my film career. And now,
What a film career you've had here. Matter of fact, you grew up, born in Long Beach, California.
I was, but I never lived there. I wish they
know.
wouldn't say that, because I grew up in San Fernando and Granada
In the
Hills.
valley?
In the town of San Fernando and Granada Hills, when it was all country and
It was beautiful.
orange
there.
groves, and oh my God.
I lived in
loved
Toluca
it.
Lake in the '40s when I grew up as a child
Did you?
actor. When I worked at Monograms Films, I loved that valley when it was.
Love the valley. With every phone pole, I was heartbroken. I hate to date myself because.
Sally, tell me something.
Yes, what
the
would you like
film
to
you
know?
worked with Robert Altman.
Altman, yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it. This great film,
You mean MASH?
Nash. What a movie that was.
It was a great movie, and it was
Hot
a
Lips.
great
They
role.
got Hot Lips. Is that?
Hot Lips got nominated for an Academy Award
Certainly,
for doing that.
you were
yeah.
nominated.
Golden Globe, I was. But you know what? And someone asked me the other day, what are some of your favorite projects? And I was so glad, because I've made about 60 or 70 movies,
Wow.
and I've made really the two biggest hits I've had were MASH and Back to School. I will eternally.
Back to School is with
Rodney Dangerfield, yes.
Funny.
And I will be eternally grateful for Robert Altman for seeing something in me and taking, and I'd been starring in television, in Chanel suits and everything, and I went to this meeting and he said, "Soul, I gave you the best part." He didn't have to think or ask anybody
Isn't that
else or
amazing?
anything, and he just hired me, and I loved him so much, and he died almost, I think, 2 years ago, and I'm very close with his wife, Catherine, and I wouldn't trade that, so I don't mean to in any way poo-poo it, because, good to be remembered for anything.
You
but
have a lot of great friends here, Sally,
I do.
in Hollywood.
I do have
Because
a
you've
lot
been
of
here a
friends.
long time, grew up here, done so much theater.
I have.
And you also like the Little Theater, because I just saw you recently in the Little Theater at Santa Monica Row. What was it? Maybe a year ago or something like that. You were.
Oh, I did too. I did the Wild Party.
That's right.
I did it for Daniel Henning, who has that wonderful theater with.
Isn't he wonderful?
He is, with Noah
I
Wiley.
love that Noah
And
Wiley.
he is brilliant, Daniel. And the musical was with. Here's where the senior moment comes
Wild.
in.
No.
It was wild, but no, wait a minute. Who was the
That
the
black girl,
star?
was she
yes,
wild?
that's why. No, we don't.
Well,
Valerie Pettiford. She
great.
was unbelievable, and so was the guy who played the
Yeah.
strange weirdo. And how about in that small theater to
50 people at least.
How
50.
about the set and the sets and every picture, everything he does? What is the name of his company?
I don't remember.
What is the name of his company?
It is
Daniel.
I know.
And right now it's the
Daniel.
pick hit of the L.A. Times, and everything he does ends up, you know, winning awards and doing things like that. And he has a children's theater. He has, you know, the writers. He brings
What
writers.
a smart
in.
guy he is. Really,
He's really smart and very warm and lovely.
Very theater. He loves the thing. See, that's
And
what I
now
love
back
about
to-
L.A. now, because L.A. people like him and bring the good theater now.
Yeah, no, it is true.
I went to see you there, and I fell in love with you. You were wonderful in that
I
show.
played the
Wild Party.
I played the who did I play from on Broadway? Eartha Kitt. I
Eartha
played
Kitt.
the Eartha Kitt
Yeah,
Kitt role.
yeah. But you were great.
But thank you.
Did you ever meet Eartha Kitt?
No.
Oh, she was wonderful. I've interviewed her many times. What a delight. Orson Welles discovered her in Paris.
Is that right?
Yeah, she was on the road working as a dancer with the troupe. What's her name? The Dunn troupe. And she left it, and Orson Welles saw something in her like Robert Alton saw in you.
Oh, yeah,
Same
no, I know it's true.
thing.
But I, you know, just speaking of the films, when somebody asked me the other day, I was so happy to say yes. Well, what films have I enjoyed aside from MASH? You know,
Right.
because one hates to think of oneself as, you know, like a one-trick pony. That was it. Although that never goes away. Even though there's
Right.
been a series and everything else, and I'm grateful. I'll be forever Hot Lips, you know, and I'll be sharing it with Loretta, you know. But the fact is that. You know,
Do
another
you see
picture.
her around at all?
No,
Loretta?
but another picture that people love was called A Little Romance with Laurence Olivier and Diane Lane, and then I did a picture.
What a
Adrian-
good actress she is, too,
She's,
Diane Lane.
oh, I love Diane Lane.
Isn't she
She's
wonderful?
beautiful and great.
You've worked with some good
So I've worked with
actors.
a lot of great actors, and
Yeah.
Jodie Foster and Foxes, and so, you know, when it narrows down to one role, I'm thinking, I didn't start, you know, Neil Simon's Last of Our Lovers. I've done a lot of films,
right.
about 70 or something like that, but, you know, so I like to get that out. But it is true that in the last 4 years, I have been working in places like Genghis Cohen and bringing
Genghis
in new
Cohen,
material.
a wonderful little room.
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's a great room to work out in, to bring new material and things like that. And that's where Val Garay, who produced my CD, Sally, won the Album of the Year with Kim Carnes' Betty Davis Eyes, and he worked with James Taylor and Bonnie Raitt and everybody.
Right.
He's just started coming in to Genghis Cohen and watching me.
Isn't that great?
And about 18 shows later, we made this really great album. And I don't hate to keep pushing
He
it, but
got
you know,
the idea from you doing it there.
he just kept watching
That's
me.
It, that's it. That's
And
it.
he, you know, he's worked with Bonnie Raitt and everybody, and he just said, you know.
They
he
can
saw
get this
something.
album now, Sally, at the
At any of the major stores and on
brand
Amazon.
new, just coming out, baby.
Yeah, it is, and it's out on Amazon and iTunes, and it's been a thrilling time for me. You know, at this time of my life, to just feel so excited and fresh about something. You know.
How many kids do you have? You have
I have
twins,
3.
I know.
I have 20-year-old twins. Hey, I was ahead of the curve, baby. I was, you know, I think we got to stop having twins now, you know what I mean? Unless, you know, I mean, let's not go out and make, you know, like get 500 kids. We're so overpopulated now, you know, that it's thrilling, and I'm so happy. Jack and Hannah are their names, and I'm mad about them, and they just turned 20. And I have an older daughter, adopted my sister's daughter years ago, and she's too old really to talk about.
What do you think of Hollywood today, Sally? I mean, it's totally different than, but it's fun still. But what do you think of it today?
Well, it's different if you're talking about, you know, the actual film business. You know, it certainly is different. But you notice that these independents, these movies with stories and things, you know, come through.
Right.
And I mean, the big blockbusters. I mean, you know, I mean, I loved Iron Man with Robert Downey. You know, I just loved
I think
that.
he's
I chuckled every day about that last thing he said in the movie, whatever it was. You know, I know what it was, but I didn't want to give it away. You know, and. You know, I mean, and those are amazing, technical, and when there's a story with them, I mean, they're great. But you know, I'm old-fashioned, and I lean toward more like stories and heart.
Yeah.
And,
I just saw a
and
great
laughs
movie.
and-
Just saw a great movie.
Did you? What was that?
Yeah, Johnny Depp in this wonderful, wonderful
Dillinger.
Dillinger type of thing.
Dillinger,
Yeah,
yeah.
but it's not just a gangster movie. It's about a man who falls in love with this beautiful girl.
You know, she's
He's
such
in
a
love. This gangster is in love.
right. No,
Takes
I
over.
love Johnny Depp.
Oh, he's
Depp.
great.
And the girl who played his girlfriend last year when
Oh,
she was
she
in
won
Edith
the
Piaf,
award.
she was like nothing I've
incredible.
ever seen.
I didn't
yeah.
recognize her at all.
No, I didn't.
Until the end of the film when the credits. I
No,
said
I
to my
know it
friend,
was.
who is that girl? She's incredible. What a face. I didn't recognize her.
Yeah.
But that was her.
But
The
Edith,
leader
when
of
she did
my-
Edith Piaf, she
She was
was like,
brilliant.
I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Yeah.
And there are so many. Now, here's another thing in Hollywood at this moment. We have so many great actresses and
We
so
do.
many great actors.
Yeah.
And I mean, we really do. So whatever you say about it and whatever everyone talks about, business is the bottom line, money is the bottom line, and that does seem to be the deal. Yeah, I'm trying to grow up and get into that, you know, that area of
Do you
my
write,
life.
Sally, at all? Do you do any
I
writing?
don't. I don't.
You don't
I don't
write?
write music, and I don't write screenplays. And I've been working on a book for a couple of years, but it's like
the
torture.
book is not out yet.
It's like torture. No, it isn't. No.
Is it torture for you?
Writing?
The writing about
I have other
yourself?
disciplines. I have a discipline as an actress. I have discipline as a singer. Writing, you know, I mean, I can tell a good yarn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
People are always
yeah.
saying to me, "Oh, you got to write a book," and you know, I tell all these stories about I don't know what. I don't even know what I talk about.
Tell me about Jeff Corey. You know, Jeff Corey's son is my producer and director at the Beverly Hills High. I do a show at the Beverly Hills High,
Really?
and he is there working.
Is it his son or
His-
son-in-law or
No, his son.
his son?
Yeah.
My God,
You didn't know he had a
I'm
son,
really
did you?
losing it. Well, I
Yeah.
know that he had children. He had, I think, 2 children,
Two
isn't
children,
he? A
yeah.
daughter and a son?
That's it.
Oh, I just haven't seen
And
him in
he's
years.
what a great. What
Jeff
a great,
Corey? Oh, my
Jeff
God.
Corey's
I was
stunning.
right out of high school, Hollywood High I went
You
to.
went to Hollywood High.
I did. We moved from the
You
Valley.
and Richard Long. Richard Long went there. He was married to Susan Ball. I knew Richard very well, and he was a sweet boy. Loads of
Not
actors.
in my year.
Not in your.
Not in my.
No, after.
When I was there, there were no actors except my friend who was a child actor, Norma Jean Nielsen, and she's the
Yeah.
one. When somebody came, Dan O'Hurley, he came to speak at our school, and I said to Norma Jean, her name was, and I said, I'm going to study with him because I'm really going to be an actress. And I was singing in high school. I always put trios together, and she was one of my part of my trios, and we'd giggle at the auditorium. And she said, "Well, look, if you're really going to be an actress, if you're serious, you got to go to Jeff Corey." So I was just so lucky. Right out of high school, I went to Jeff Corey's, and who were my classmates? Jack Nicholson, Robert Towne, Carol Eastman, Roger Corman. My best friend always in my life until she died, Luana Anderson, Lou Anders. And
You knew Shelley Winters, didn't you?
I just to say hello.
To say
I don't
Silver
know.
Spoon, maybe around that area.
No, I don't know why. I just met her at some time.
You are doing and going to San Francisco. Tell me about this wonderful
I'm
theater.
going to San Francisco to do this very, very unique show. I don't know how to describe it. I was just up singing and doing my own show up at the Raz Room, but which is great at the Nico Hotel. That's a great room. But this one is I'm part of the show. I'm Madame Zinzani. It's called Teatro Zinzani, Z-I-N, and it's like a European circus. No animals, but it's kind of like Cirque du Soleil for dinner. You know, the soup comes hot. It's in a Spiegel tent, which there are only 4 in the world, and it's 100 years old or something. I think when I go up there, I've seen this stuff. And when they called me, it took me a year before I went up there, because he kept saying, "Oh, you'll love it. It's circus, and it's a tent." And I thought, and you get to sing some songs. I was like, oh boy, I can hardly wait. And I thought I saw myself standing out in the alley, you know, waiting to go into this tent.
Yeah.
Well, this tent has stained glass. It's got a stage with a band. It's got a center pole. It has lighting to die for, and they design your own costumes. And so I'm
wonderful.
going up, and not just in a work shirt,
Right.
but in some beautiful gowns next week, you know. And I'm more comfortable
How long,
in a
a
work
couple
shirt.
weeks are you going to be doing
I'm
this?
doing this 3. I've done 2 summers, 6 weeks. But this summer, and they've asked me to do 2 months in Seattle. They do it in Seattle and in San Francisco. But I love San Francisco.
Do you really?
And I'm right on the Embarcadero. I stay, you know, I look out at the Oakland Bridge where the cars go like this, and the tankers and the sailboats, and 8 minutes walk to the theater and 4
That's
minutes
great,
drive.
great.
Oh man, I was ready to never leave there, you know. So, but this is good because I'm out. I'm doing my own show, and I'm out promoting my new CD, Sally, and produced
great.
by Val Gouret, and it has classic musicians like Lee Sklar, Russ Kunkel, Dean Parks, musicians who will be watching. You know who these people are.
Favorite? Who's your favorite musician you have? You have one?
Well,
very favorite.
My musical director, Chris Caswell, that Hal David of Backrack and David insisted I work with, and it changed everything for me. It did. I've worked with some great people. Robert Esty is a wonderful producer that I worked with for years. We were kind of codependent. But Chris made a big difference in my life.
Would you consider yourself a jazz singer? Or?
I would consider myself a singer who has just come into her own after all these years of working at it, and I finally got free. Bob Altman was a big supporter of mine, and he'd come to 5 of my shows here in West Hollywood at the Rose Tattoo, and he'd say, listen,
those days.
I would have come to all 5, he said, but I was shooting, but not because I know you, because you're that good. And then he told me in recent years, don't talk. I don't give a crap what you say. I just want to hear you sing. And my shrink said, and used to say, giggle and give in. And my shrink said, if it's not fun, it's all BS. I don't know if you can swear on these cable shows, so
fine.
I've tried to clean up my act here. I am from the Valley, a little,
How many songs do you do in your act when you do your act, Sally? Like
I
10, 15 maybe, when you do an act?
I don't know. It's about an hour and 10, 15.
An hour 10? Because I did see you last time at the Roosevelt.
Way back at the Roosevelt,
You
yeah.
were wonderful, though.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Wonderful.
Well, I've had a lot of years to practice.
With the audience, too. You talk, and you do comedy,
Well,
too.
I do now. I'm telling you, I've always had writing, and I'm not a stand-up comic, but I have never had such a connection with an audience. I have never had so many laughs, and I don't have anything planned. We call it the anti-show. This is I just walk on, and whatever happens. But I love the audience. The thing is, I'm just loving the audience. I mean, years of being afraid and, oh my God, I got to prove something. All that went out the window, and now I just get out there, and like my friends who are my regulars, they go, you're just trying anything, and the thing is, you make it.
And I'm
you
going,
make it, yeah.
Yeah, that's the most important.
And what's exciting for me is that I love to help people feel, to cry and to laugh, and there's been such a mutual give and take. And this last show last week in San Francisco, it's just, I was over the moon. Everybody lined up for the CDs, and then they kept saying, it was so much fun, it was so much fun. And all those years that I try to write and tell a boring story, people just be like, and now people are laughing and happy.
Do you have a favorite place in the world that you would like to really live? Have a favorite spot?
All right, I got...
My favorite is in Italy, where George Clooney, he beat me to it.
He beat you to it, baby.
I want to get
hoping,
there.
Darling, I'd love you to get there. You're such a
I love
darling.
that place. Oh, God.
You're a darling, Skippy. But I'll tell you where, it's a good question. For about 8 or 9 years, we've gone with the children, with the twins, to Sun Valley, Idaho. And that is a beautiful place. Oh, my God. Jonathan and I don't ski. The kids are maniac snowboarders. And my older daughter has joined us. She does ski, Claire. And then we love Hawaii. I mean, it's corny, but we have friends that
That word,
stay
I
there.
just like you just use the word corny. It's a kind of a cute word, corny.
Corny.
It really is. But it's Hawaii.
Well, you think of Hawaii,
Yeah.
but we go to the other side of the Pali, and you go over these mountains with the waterfalls, and our friends have the most beautiful spot in the world, and we rent houses on this long white sandy beach, which there aren't a lot in Hawaii. I mean, you go to to some of the fancier places, and there's a little this much swimming, and the rest are rocks.
Right.
But we even like Waikiki. We like to be able to go to a movie and walk among the riffraff. And
I'm looking at you. You seem so happy and content right now.
Oh,
you
thank
seem
you.
pleasant and happy, and most actresses like you, who've been around, some of them are bitter. But Sally Kellerman, I'm looking, is a happy human being. You found yourself, did you?
I think I have, yeah. I am happy, and I'm grateful. I am so
I love that
grateful,
word.
man. And this new excitement with the economy has certainly, makes you go, whoa. I have been one of the most fortunate people that ever lived, and I have a husband I love of 30 years, and and children that I love, and friends.
Sally Kellerman's never mixed herself. As long as you've been in Hollywood, drugs have never got into your really life. You married a wonderful human being, togetherness,
Well,
children.
we're both crazy. That's why we've been together so long. Yeah.
But you are a special individual.
Oh,
You find
thanks,
yourself.
Stevie.
I've always thought of you as a bohemian. Is that okay?
It's great.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I love that word, bohemian.
I know, and I put on a work shirt today.
Shelley Winters was an intellectual bohemian like you. Same thing.
Oh.
Shelley spoke out. She did her thing.
Yeah.
And
Well,
she
I have definitely followed
But
my
you're an
path.
actor studio product.
I am. Jeff
tell
Corey,
me.
Actor Studio, all of it. And, I've done plays in New York and I've done plays here. And I haven't done any plays recently, but I'm open. One of the things that finding this freedom in my music has, what I'm hoping to do is get a couple of really good roles and bring that same freedom
The music.
and that same confidence into the acting. And it's not like I've arrived. When I first got nominated for an Academy Award and I finally got into the movies.
How did you feel about that when you first?
Well, it was thrilling. It
be
was
nominated.
really thrilling.
Yeah,
It was very
It
exciting.
was your
but
first big break.
Yeah, so I'm a little behind. I got to get another big break, guys, and and so I can win, so I can give my speech.
How about doing the Sunset Boulevard of a singer, not an
All
actress,
right, yeah.
but a singer?
Singer. Hey, a musical.
A singer.
Oh, they did a musical on Broadway, but that's a good idea. Yeah.
I
a
like
story.
The
yeah.
story.
A story about something
And
like
so-
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always noted there was my favorite actress was Kim Stanley.
Oh, she was great.
She was
yeah.
absolutely great.
Yeah, great.
And you could have done that part, and I'm sure you've done it in your acting classes. That wonderful story of what's her name? Kim Stanley did that movie
What was
with. Remember, she did that wonderful film. The senior thing is coming, huh? Well,
Yeah.
I just turned 80, ladies and gentlemen.
You did.
80,
All right.
Oh, and I
All
feel
right.
good.
And you look
God's
good.
been good. You're a Gemini like I am. You had a birthday.
June 2nd.
June
I had
2nd.
a birthday, guys. Hey.
Yeah. You're a
As everybody
Gemini.
says, just how lucky we are to be alive.
Tony Curtis said the same thing. He's a Gemini too.
How's he doing?
He's doing
I
fine.
made 2 pictures with Tony,
Did you? Which one?
Well, I always
love
like to see the romantic lead in the Boston Strangler because I lived to tell the
Boston
tale.
You were in that one?
And Henry Fonda was a mentor of mine, and he was in the film, and he saw me that day, and I had big bruises all over me. He said, "What have you done to her? She's an attractive girl, And then we were in a picture that I got nominated for Best Foreign Actress in Canada, called some absurd title, "Rained All Night the Day I Left" or something like that. And it was Tony and Lou Gossett and me on horseback in the Arab desert, and we started in Canada. And I actually made Adrian Lyne with Jodie Foxes at the same time. I commuted from
what
Israel.
an actor she is.
Oh, she's incredible. And she was a young girl, and she knew just where while I was brushing my hair trying to make it look full,
For the lighting.
she'd go out and study French and come back in and know exactly where the lighting was and how to do it and everything. And so it was no surprise she's become such a huge star. And
Yeah. What have you learned
so talented.
from Henry Fonda?
what did I learn from him?
Yeah. Did
I
you?
don't know. I was just so blown away by him because he saw me in a TV show, and he had Shirley, his wife, who was then
I love her.
stewardess,
Yeah.
call me on the phone. She goes, "Hi, kid." And I knew her as a stewardess, "Hi, kid. My boyfriend saw you, and he'd like, to meet you and everything." I'm going, "Okay, Shirley, I like Shirley," but I'm thinking, who could ever, "Oh, okay, well, fine. I mean, do you know who my boyfriend is, kid?" And I go, "No." And she goes, "Shirley Fonda, Henry Fonda." And I go, "Oh, well, Shirley," and I said, I love Shirley, So I mean, but anyway, so I met him, and then he tried to get me he had Arthur Penn come see me on my first big
wonderful
break, the
director. I
third
love
day.
him.
Had him come see my work on the third day, and then actually Jane did the part, but at least he had Arthur Penn come watch me, and then what else did you say? Oh, and then I don't know what else.
Sean Penn is one of my favorite
He's a
actors.
great actor, yeah.
I like depth, Sean Penn, and the one you were telling me about, the movie.
Oh, Robert Downey Jr.
Those three, just incredible.
They're great. They're
wonderful
incredible.
young guys, talented. But
Talented.
Sean was absolutely brilliant.
And Milk?
in
Oh, my God, he was
Wasn't that
incredible.
a wonderful movie?
Yeah, it was. It was. Just
I
a
knew he
great
was going to
movie.
win. I just knew it. I just felt it.
And then, let's not overlook Frank Langella, because he
Oh,
was
what a
magnificent in that.
great-
It was such a hard. I said I wish I
I
had been
agree.
drunk
Yeah.
to vote. To have to pick between
Yeah,
the two,
yeah.
because it was really hard. But I won't.
It is hard,
say,
isn't
but
it,
it is
sometimes?
sometimes, and that Kate Blanchett and Kate Winslet and that German thing. Oh
Yeah.
my God Almighty!
Kate
Yeah,
Blanchett, she's
it's-
a great actress.
It's quite thrilling as an actress. I know we're supposed to just be actors, and up in Teatro Zanzani, I'm now supposed to say I am your host. Wait a minute, I'm a woman. We were hostesses.
So you're going to San Francisco
to do Teatro Zanzani. I'll be there for 3 weeks, from the 16th to the 9th.
Uh-huh.
And it's a great show. I mean, if I didn't describe it, it's all these guys, aerialists and beautiful, beautiful. As I said, the lighting and the music and the band, is great. And then
you're gonna sing.
And the meal is great, and I sing. But I work opposite a guy named Ronan, who's very famous in Europe, and he's Russian, and he brings his family, and his wife is the contortionist. And I thought a contortionist before I didn't go up there, when I was like a circus people, and
Right.
then I went up to see them, and then I said, well, I don't know circus people. And then we went back, and there's a tradition. Big tables with bottles of wine. You eat everything that everybody else didn't eat after the show. And I went back there and went, oh, you're in show business, you're actors. I get it, you're performers. And they're magnificent performers, and you get to know them. And you're in this
Isn't that wonderful?
intimate setting. 300 people are the audience,
Wonderful.
and they just love it. And it's everything that I avoided all
Is
my
the
life.
theater of the round like?
No, it's they're in the round. I mean,
that,
the
yeah.
audience is the
Yeah,
round,
the round,
and
yeah.
we're in
Yeah.
the center.
Yeah.
But there's a center pole, and
yeah.
the contortionist was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen, with lighting and fire and beautiful costumes, and oh my goodness. No, it is truly an amazing experience, and I've had so much fun doing it.
And you're going to Seattle with it too, huh?
No, I'm not. No, they asked me to do
Oh,
2
they
months,
did.
but I'm just doing this summer, 3 weeks in San Francisco.
How many songs in the album, Sally?
12.
12, really?
12, and
Do you have a
there's so
favorite
many-
song in this? at
Yes,
all?
I do.
You do?
There's an incredible contemporary ballad called Say It Isn't So, written by Mervyn Warrens of Take Six.
It is so.
And then I have a duet that I think is going to be the single with a guy named R.J. Ross, who's kind of in the Michael McDonald
Right.
area, a very unique sound.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Aerosmith. It was a big pop anthem for Aerosmith.
Uh-huh.
And it was written by Diane Warren, who writes just fantastic songs. And what Val Garay, my brilliant producer, did was just change the feel completely, and it's so good. And I have there's Love Potion #9. I've worked a lot with Lieber and Stoller. Mike took me to Carnegie Hall with Natalie Cole and Donald Fagen a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've got Love Potion #9, but a slow, dragged blue version, and just
I love when you do your drag blue versions.
Blues
I've seen
version.
you do it.
well, it's
Fabulous.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
a kind of blues-based, jazz blues, kind of funky,
Blues, yeah.
funky, rocky kind of deal.
Yeah, you're great. And Dietrich, you ever do Dietrich type of?
I never did, but someone asked
But I
me.
I love your commercial. My favorite candy.
Oh, the Milky Way.
honey.
Yeah.
It's my favorite candy.
I know it.
You
Honey.
paid a lot of money on those
Hey
commercials,
man,
girl.
candy is my the staple of my diet, and so when they asked me to do the Milky Way, I was like, I've done 3 of them, I'm
And you did the other one, the hidden.
Hidden Valley. That's like Hot Lips. I can never get rid of
Hidden
Hidden
Valley,
Valley. They're
yeah.
getting all this free publicity. I said, call them up and tell them to put me back on board because, I'm getting cheated here.
But I do love. Do you eat that Milky Ways? I love.
I do, and
Milky
I
Way.
got several boxes, and I was going to take them down to the to the mission and give them away. Don't tell Milky Way, but my children and husband just gobbled them up. Every time when I finally wanted one, I love them.
This picture is incredible. Wow. What a-
Oh, thank you,
Sally,
Alan Mercer
thank
is the
you,
photographer.
Sally.